What's up, guys? Tambo here with our Week 2 NFL Core Report. Week 2 was a monster for our experts, with many on the Tua stack and that Baltimore and Miami game stack, but nobody was higher on the Miami-Baltimore game stacks than our guy, Big T himself. Tony's player pool, available to premium members, focused primarily on the Baltimore shootout, as well as the Commanders-Lions game, adding in high-scoring wide receivers, including Amon-Ra St. Brown being in his core plays. Tony had a nice day, profiting over $83,000, and our members followed suit, dominating the slate in Week 2. Nadesify hit for $1K on FanDuel. Jacob Stubbs won $4,800 on FanDuel. Trev hit for $10,000 on FanDuel, and Chimo had another monster day, shipping over $100,000. The biggest hit of the day, though, came from one of our members, Racer1A, who shipped over $150,000 on DraftKings. If you're not subscribed to our content, what are you even thinking? Go over to our Run Pure Sports YouTube page right now and subscribe, and go visit our homepage at runpuresports.com to sign up for our premium content. Our members consistently crush. Congrats to all those that shared their screenshots this week. There were too many to feature them all, but drop yours in our Members Never Win channel in Discord for a chance at a future shoutout. Until next week, good luck in your contest, and let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Talking some baseball today with Gary, DC, the baseball guys. Nice 11-game slate. We got Coors Field on the slate. Pitching, I think we know where the ownership's going to go for sure. It looks like a pretty straightforward pitching slate, but 11 games, 22 teams. There's always other options to go to. So excited to hear these two got to say about it. As always, do us a favor, hit that like button for us, please. Hit that big red subscribe button, bringing you baseball winners in September every single day. So we appreciate the like and the subscribe. Got to go over to DC first, because I don't know, a lot of people in Discord were following. Probably there's some people in YouTube chat that do not know, but DC was sitting up there with a nice $1 million screenshot for a little while yesterday. Obviously so hard to win that tournament. Well, I think you finished like 15th or 20th or something like that. DC, a bunch of Quez Watkins. Talk about that sweat a little bit, man, because you were up there. You were live for a milli, and not too many people can say that. So talk about yesterday a little bit.
Yeah, hard to know exactly how live I was, but was in first for an hour, I think. Even with the first game over. Obviously, we're talking the 2-game Monday night football slate. I did have Quez Watkins in the core. He was like 3% owned. Obviously, cut the long touchdown. Had, I think, 30% of him on 150 teams. And yeah, I was leading the Millie Maker. I think it flipped. Started of the fourth quarter, somewhere around there. It was, but by the kind of the end of the third quarter of the Vikings-Eagles game, it was. I wouldn't say I was dead and didn't have a chance, but I needed like a Hurts injury or just a really run out where he didn't do anything. But the problem was I had 3 more pass catchers. I had Goddard, Devonta Smith, and Watkins, all without Hurts. I had the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack. Obviously used Saber Sem, our friends who do a great job. At first I was a little frustrated, and I don't know exactly how to feel about this, that the team didn't have Hurts on it to begin with, right? Because it was just a single stack with Diggs. I had the 3 Eagles pass catchers, which kind of seems like, hard for those 3 guys to get there without Hurts. But Allen obviously has a ton of upside as well. And also the team was unique. I was the only one with it where that wouldn't have been the case with Hurts on it. So maybe that's the reason the optimizer kind of spit that team out instead of the same exact team with Hurts. But the reason I think it didn't spit out both teams is I did have 2 uniques on, right? So it couldn't build the Allen version of the team and then the Hurts exact dupe of the team, but just with the different quarterbacks because of the setting that I chose, right? So, important to, I'm still kind of getting going on optimizer, especially in football. I haven't been a 150 player in the past, but I've had some good success these first couple of weeks of the season. I was hoping, obviously, that would be the breakthrough. We were joking in the pre-show. I think because that was the only really showdown that I played, was just the 150 in that, or not showdown, but by big action on the slate. And it was like, winning 1 million, $3,700. Miles Sanders runs for 2 yards, and the winnings go down like $998,700. So that was interesting. I've never been in first place in a Millie Maker that deep into a slate. Had a legit shot. That's all you could ask for. Didn't come through. And hey, we'll try again next week.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's awesome. Not too many people can say that. And I was going to ask how many dupes were with the Hurts team, because yours was unique. And Redmond in chat said it. The team with Hurts over Josh Allen finished second, which I shouldn't have said that. You probably already knew it.
Yeah, I didn't do the math because I was worried it was going to be first. So I'm glad to hear it wasn't first. So
no, it wasn't first, and it had 2 dupes, I guess. Because I was going to ask, because what, Allen was $800 more expensive, or maybe that was FanDuel.
So
it wasn't deep.
Yeah, it didn't restrict it because of the.
I was just wondering, like, how much. So they left a lot more salary and still had more dupes, but obviously makes sense because when you have 3 receivers. So that probably had to be why Saber sent. I mean, you want to get unique. You don't want to chop a milli. So I assume that's why Saber gave you the different. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works. I assume if I had one unique as a setting, that it would have made both lineups, which obviously would have been nice. But yeah, that's why you learn and you try to get better next time.
Yeah, and I mean, it could have worked out a different way when you do shift the milli. Obviously, everyone, when you go 1 unique to 2 uniques, you just broaden your horizon. You don't need to get as many stuff right or take as many big stands, because you'll have a little different in your 150 lineup. So yeah, great job. I mean, like you said though, that milli is so hard to win. If you do not take first, your first to 10th place, the difference in that is absolutely insane. But that's what we sign up for. Great stuff though, DC. Gary, last week or 2 weeks ago on the show, you said if I'm wearing Braves stuff, I'm playing the Braves. If I'm not playing the Braves. Take it away, man.
Hey, man, it's Patrick Corbin Day. I mean, the Braves have absolutely owned him this season. They've got over 1,000 OPS against Patrick Corbin and about 70 at-bats this season. So that's pretty good. It's pretty good history this season. So pretty good BVP across the board. I mean, Corbin can always go out and, strike out 6 or 7 guys and still give up 2 or 3 home runs. So I could definitely still see the tilt in the chat later. But yes, I will be on the Braves tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's baseball at the end of the day. Like, no team is going to succeed every single night. There's going to be bad nights. And then the later we get in the season, we're pretty late into September. Feels like the more variance we have. I mean, yesterday, the Detroit Tigers leading the slate with runs, 11, and almost no hitting the Orioles. Like, man, that's what you get in September. It seems like, talking baseball. But Gary, yeah, some people saw Holden, his picture on the show. When we see Corbin against the Braves, we got to call to the bullpen and call Gary in, because he knows what's going on with the Braves. So we get 2 great baseball minds breaking down this great 11-game slate. Again, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that big red subscribe button. We're going to dive right into pitching today. I said the ownership, we know where they're going to go, because I think the Luis Castillo and Charlie Morton pairing is going to be very popular on DraftKings. But there are some other names, of course, 22 teams to talk about. Dylan Cease all the way up there at 11K. Carlos Carrasco, 10-4. Wainwright, 9-4. I'll start with UDC. Let's go 8.4K since there's no 8K and above. Aaron Savale at 8.4, all the way up to Dylan Cease, 8 pitchers, 9 pitchers, something like that in that range. Talk about Castillo and Morton. Are you going to be pairing them, and anything you like in the top tier? How are you approaching it?
Yeah, we had an interesting discussion yesterday for people that watched the show about kind of the ownership thing. I was a little bit surprised myself to see Scherzer, down. I think he ended up being a little bit higher owned than we predicted, 15% or something. But it's one of those spots where it's like, okay, I'll make the pivot. I'll make the pivot here. And Scherzer obviously ended up pitching really well. Harder to do today. I'm looking at Castillo, Morton. I think they're both going to be somewhere around 50% owned. I think maybe more, or Castillo rather, with a little bit more ownership. But yeah, these guys are going to be the 2 most popular pitchers on the slate. But they're just hard to get away from. I think they're both underpriced. They're both in tremendous matchups. Morton has been a monster at home this year. He gets this Washington team that is okay against lefties, but a right-handed pitcher like Morton, you got to expect he's going to mow him down, get strikeouts. He's been awesome in the second half of the year. And then Castillo, has really kind of, I wouldn't say put the Mariners team on his back, but he's been an awesome trade acquisition for them, as you might expect going out west. He's looked fantastic these last few starts. There's really no reason to expect either of these guys to struggle whatsoever. I mean, I'm expecting 25 plus, frankly, from both of them. So it is just, in my mind, just a matter of ownership, right? Are you willing to eat the chalk on both, on one of them? Harder to make that decision for people. I'm leaning toward playing a lot of these guys. Going to try my hand at the 150 optimizer again. I'll have a ton of both Castillo and Morton. Probably, honestly, kind of close to the field. I know people have mixed thoughts about this, but I don't actually have a problem kind of matching the field and getting a little bit different. That's basically what I did in the football slate yesterday, except for I took the big stand on Olowo and Quez Watkins. But other than that, I played most of the other guys relatively close to what they were owned. So I don't have a problem with doing that with Castillo Morton. It is my preferred pairing. Certainly the pairing I would use in cash games. You just know you're going to have to get maybe a little bit different somewhere else, because a lot of people are going to have that exact pairing. But I do expect it to come through, and there's just not that many alternatives is the problem, right? I'm not paying $11K for Dylan Cease against Cleveland. Carrasco, I'm actually more willing to play him, partly because of the ownership. I'm seeing 2, 3, 4% ownership on Carrasco. He is a pitcher who can go 100 pitches and get you 8 or 9 strikeouts, right? He does have a path to being number one overall, in my opinion. I'm not sure Nestor Cortez does. Good matchup, but I just don't think they're going to let him go deep into the game. Adam Wainwright, don't really pitch him on the road much, and probably wouldn't against San Diego either. So you do get back, to Castillo and Morton, who I do think, I would certainly take them straight up over Dylan Cease, even if they were the same price. So at that point, kind of willing to eat the chalk. Tyler Anderson, Aaron Ashby, Savale, the rest of the guys above that 8K group that you mentioned, those guys are all a relatively easy pass for me. So almost by process of elimination, it does seem like a night where you might have to eat some of this chalk with Castillo and Morton.
Yeah, it makes sense. Gary, same question to you. Are you just going to be eating those chalk and you make some pivots in the upper tier? Of course, we're going to get to the bottom tier as well, but 8K and above, what's your plan?
Yeah, so I have a couple concerns with Charlie Morton here. He just hasn't looked good recently. He's been getting hit a little bit. I understand it's the Nationals, but then I pull up the Nationals lineup here. Their lineup has a 17% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching over the last 30 days. That's not ideal. They've been hitting the ball a little bit. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play a chalky Charlie Morton tonight. I'm going to stick with the bats in Atlanta. But Castillo is definitely hard for me to get away from. I'm probably going to lock him into all of my lineups and just take that stand with him there. And I'm going to look elsewhere to make a SP2 tonight. When I first opened up the slate this morning, I saw Nestor Cortez sitting there against Pittsburgh. And, man, I'm like, well, Nestor Cortez, there's my guy. And then I looked, and he only pitched 65 pitches in his last outing coming off the IL. I think they're going to take it easy with him there, 9,800. I'm just not going to be able to get there on this slate with the pitch restrictions. And I do like Tyler Anderson quite a bit here. I know that the price tag is a little shocking, 8,600 for him. But, man, this Arizona team is not good against left-handed pitching. He's not a big strikeout guy. He just went 7 innings against this team in his last start, 3 or 4 strikeouts, got to 20 DK. I think he's a safe option on this slate. If you're just looking to get a safer option, I think he gets us 20 DK here with some upside for more possibly. So I do like Tyler Anderson here and Castillo. Those would be my only 2 guys above 8.4K.
I like it.
I was pretty safe with Gary joining the Charlie Morton train, but I guess not.
Hey, you got to have real concerns when the Braves guy rocking all the Braves gear is concerned about his own pitcher over there. So, hey, I like it, though. At the end of the day, like, Morton, he's going to be so highly owned. I like Castillo as well. If I had to pick one of Castillo and Morton, it would be Castillo. I think the ownership will follow, even though they're both going to be high owned. But, Gary, I'll go right back to you because you're not going to go to Morton. So you need an SP2. You said Tyler Anderson, fine, but 8K and below. It's a lot of pitchers down there. Talk about what you like down there and who you could play at SP2 in some of your lineups.
I think my next favorite guy is another guy that's not really a high strikeout guy. He gets Texas here in Texas with the roof closed. Patrick Sandoval. I think he's going to pick up a little ownership on this slate. His projection is popping off the page quite a bit for his price. But I like him here in this spot against Texas. looking down here a little bit further, I mean, this rookie Luis Ortiz, if he was like 5.5K, I might give him a shot in tournaments. But at 6.5K against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium when Aaron Judge is chasing 60, it doesn't sound like a good plan to me. He's got some good stuff, but I'll pass there. Another guy that's a little bit interesting, but I can't do it just because he's playing the Dodgers, Dre Jamison. He dazzled at his last start. I think we were on him in that start, but can't go there. Joey Wentz maybe is a little bit interesting if you're looking to, get at the bottom barrel of pitching spectrum. Baltimore has not been good against left-handed pitchers. Like you said, I think you said it in the opener or pre-show that, the Baltimore was getting no hit yesterday. So 5,700 for Joey Wentz. He's got a 10-point projection that I'm seeing. He's going to be low owned. So don't hate that, but definitely Patrick Sandoval is probably my favorite down here.
Yeah, I can't argue with Sandoval. You look at the price tag, you look at the K prop, you got 5.5, some good juice on the over. That's like the third, fourth highest strikeout prop on this slate. So DC 8K and below, touch on Sandoval a little bit. I also want you to touch on Austin Voth a little bit. Obviously, Detroit went off yesterday, but this team is still not good. I'm not concerned about them. If you're going to go cheap, 6.7K, I'm interested to hear what you got to say about him. Anyone else you like below 8K?
Yeah, I think Sandoval is a decent play. He's capable of big outings. He's delivered for us in the past. He's pretty cheap. Gets, Texas roof closed. Listen, that's offense can do some damage for sure. But Sandoval, at least compared to most of the guys kind of down here, at least he's a legit good pitcher who does have some upside. We've seen it in the past. So I think he's okay at 7,400. Austin Voth, I think, is my favorite guy down here. Gary, I know you've been on him a little bit over the last couple of months. He's been okay. He's nothing special. There's no no lying to the people about the talent level of Austin Voth. It's just it's a matchup thing, Detroit. Yeah, I don't really care that they went off yesterday. This is a team to target. It will be for the rest of the season. Voth is a guy that, they will extend a little bit. They did use him out of the bullpen kind of weirdly his last outing, but that was a full 6 days ago now. So he should be rested, was a starting pitcher before that. He's not going to give you 100 pitches, but I think 80 to 90, that might be enough to get you 4, 5, 6 strikeouts, I think is kind of what you're hoping for.
4.5, a little juice on the over. So Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I would put it. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable play. He will get a little bit of ownership, it looks like. And then, Luis Ortiz going into Yankee Stadium, I didn't really know much about this guy. He's just made the one start. I don't know if that was a slate where I was not doing shows or something, but I at least make sure to kind of look up what a guy was throwing in his one big league outing, look up the stuff. And he's jumped off the page. I mean, he's sitting like 99, 100 with 2 different fastballs. He's got a decent slider and he threw 83 pitches in his opening outing. So I don't know. I mean, you can at least take a chance on a guy like that, right? Maybe he comes out of the gate throwing 100 miles per hour, is able to throw him past Aaron Judge. Judge still does strike out. And, after Judge, the Yankees lineup is not that strong. So like Gary said, a rookie who hasn't really, frankly, been all that effective in the minor leagues going into Yankee Stadium, probably not going to work, but he's also going to be, I think, 1 or 2% owned. So you don't have to go crazy with him to take a couple shots there. I think he's at least got a chance. He's got the arm, right? Where if you got that kind of arm talent, sometimes you find your command for, one game, 90 pitches. And with that kind of talent, I'll take a shot on him on a few teams at 6,500. But yeah, the 3 guys that I'll have the most of, obviously Morton and Castillo, and then Austin Voth is my personal favorite cheap guy down here.
Well, there you go. I was going to ask you for the rankings. You like Castillo more than Morton, right? Or do you have Morton 1?
No, I do have Castillo 1, but yeah, I'll have a lot of both.
Yeah. If you want just a couple more things for the Luis Ortiz, I mean, he's going to be sub 5%. If you want a couple other things to push you in his direction, the K prop on him, 4.5, a little juice on the over, which surprised me. And then he has a pitcher's umpire behind the plate, where you look at a lot of these other pitchers. Another pitcher that stands out with an extreme pitcher's umpire, Bill Miller, for Patrick Sandoval, which stands out a little bit. So if you're just trying to different, like you have a coin flip between 2 guys, you look at the umps. Sandoval, great pitch, extreme pitcher's umpire. And then Luis Ortiz, a little pitcher's umpire. So interesting.
That's a pretty big bump to Sandoval for Bill Miller there. Enough where I'll, making a note to get some more exposure to him in my own teams.
Yeah, with a good K prop, Vegas likes him. I'm not too concerned about Texas. I definitely like. He's my favorite pivot. If you're not playing the Morton Castillo, I think Castillo Sandoval makes some sense. He's not going to be 5% owned, but it's going to definitely be a half, a third, even maybe a fourth of what Charlie Morton's going to be. Gary, top 3 pitchers on the slate.
Yeah, so it's got to be Castillo. I'm going to lock him into all of my lineups tonight. 9,100 in Oakland. It's just, massive projection on this guy. I think he's just a lock and load play tonight. And then Patrick Sandoval is my second favorite. And then I like Tyler Anderson. I think Tyler Anderson has upside for 25 on DraftKings tonight.
I like it. That is pitching on this slate. You know where ownership is going to go. Castillo, Morton. Outside of that, if you only play one of them, I think you can get different elsewhere. And we gave you some options there. Before we get into the game by game, talking some hitters, got to shout out some members never win. Starting with Nadesify, always in YouTube chat, always in Discord. Nadesify is the man. He got $1,000 in NFL on FanDuel. Congrats to you, Nadesify. Jacob Stubbs, $4,800 on FanDuel. Trev, $10,000 on FanDuel. Simo, I know Big T was saying it's like Chimo or something. I'm still saying Simo. I've said it the whole time, and he keeps winning. So Simo, another huge day, $100,000. Another day ending in Y for him. Congrats to you. And then Racer 1A, over $150,000 on DraftKings and NFL. Awesome stuff, man. 150 G's. Man, I don't know what that feels like to wake up the next day feeling like that. So awesome stuff, Racer. Congrats to you. Congrats to you, 5. You do want to get on this segment. We have a members never win segment in Discord. Drop your screenshots in there and you have a chance to be on. Game by game, we're going to go. As always, do us a favor. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that big red subscribe button. Very easy to do. Takes 2 seconds. Bringing you shows, NFL, MLB, all these shows every single day. So 2 seconds. We appreciate it. Game by game, though, let's start with the first game of the night. The Detroit Tigers, the Baltimore Orioles, Joey Wentz and Austin Voth on the mound. Gary, just going to go to you right in this game. What are your thoughts for bets?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be just an easy pass for me. Like I said earlier, Baltimore just has not been the same team against left-handed pitching that they have been against right-handed pitching. I'm going to stay away here. I just can't pay these prices. Gunnar Henderson leading off against the lefty, 3,900. I just can't. I can't do it on this slate. I like other offenses so much more. In Detroit with the 3.5 run total, not going to do it on this slate.
DC, I love Baltimore yesterday. Absolutely let us down. Usually how it goes is they snap the next day. They'll get a lefty again. Is this Joey Wentz dude worse than Tyler Anderson, though, who we saw yesterday? Or Alexander, I forget which guy, but you know what I'm talking about. Can we get to this team? They're going to be low and talk about this game.
Yeah, I kind of started the day liking Baltimore, but the more I dug, kind of the less I started liking it. I think Wentz he's just one of those dudes who seems to prevent runs and getting blown up pretty well. He did it all, at every stop of the minor leagues and has done it pretty well so far. At the big league level, we saw obviously Orioles not a lock to go off against the lefty last night. And yeah, as the day has gone on, I've kind of moved away from Baltimore a little bit. I will still have some exposure. I'm not, a huge believer in Joey Wentz. He is the kind of the type of pitcher that I like to target, but he's pitched okay. And Baltimore, like Gary said, has struggled a little bit against lefties recently. So some exposure here, but yeah, not a ton. And then I'm not going to go to Detroit at all.
Makes some sense. Let's get to the next game on the slate. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the New York Yankees. We got Luis Ortiz and Nestor Cortez on the mound. So you guys had a little interest in Luis Ortiz. The Yankees do have a good implied total. Obviously, always can play Aaron Judge. No one needs to tell you about that. But outside of him, DC, are you going to get to any of these Yankees?
I'll have some Yankee stacks. It's still a rookie Pittsburgh Pirate going into Yankee Stadium. It just, again, I do think he's got a chance to pitch well and get some strikeouts, but yeah, you can't deny that he's got a chance to just completely melt down, maybe as much as any other pitcher on the slate. Of course, the Pirates bullpen behind him, not any good. Yankee Stadium going to be rocking with Aaron Judge chasing the home run record, and you could just see him just getting rattled and not getting out of the first inning or something like that. So anytime there's a reasonable chance of that, you got to at least look at the stack. I think that's true of the Yankees today. So I will have some full Yankee stacks, and then I'll have a decent amount of just one-off Aaron Judges. Both of those I think are a pretty good way to go, but I really haven't played that many Yankees outside of Judge over these last couple months, and that'll kind of be true tonight. I'll probably be under the field on everybody here except Aaron Judge, but I will have some full stacks as well. And then, I'm not going to play any Pirates against Nestor Cortez.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played too many Yankees at all, really, but this lineup is way different than what we've seen recently. I mean, Rizzo's in there, Glaber, Josh Donaldson, Stanton, Harrison Bader's now in there. I don't know the exact numbers, but it feels like the main core pieces have not played as many games together as of late. So it is a nicer lineup. Gary, you like little Luis Ortiz, though. So are you going to fade this game or what?
No, I don't. I'll have some Yankees. I'm not going to 5-man them here. I just like I said, there's other 5-man stacks I like more here. But yeah, with Rizzo in the lineup, 5,400, that seems like a fair price tag for him against a rookie coming into his home stadium. So like that a ton here. But the bottom of the order guys, Cabrera, Bader, IKF, Trevino, I can't play these guys over other guys on the slate today. So just 2 or 3 mans for me and no Pirates.
Let's get to the next game on the slate. What everybody tuned in for, Gary's Braves, rocking the hat, rocking the jersey. Where's that World Series ring, Gary? You got the ring somewhere, right?
No, I ain't got no ring. I'm mad at that, by the way.
Huh? You're mad about it? You got the hat with the nice stitching, though. Where's that hat? Is that the one? I thought you had a different hat.
That was the All-Star Game hat that I've been rocking recently. This is like the July 4th to go with my July 4th theme Acuna jersey here. So
I can't keep up. You got too much gear. But Gary, Patrick Corbin, Atlanta, 86 degrees in Atlanta. Can't get better hitting weather. I mean, take it away, man. How are you approaching this? How are you approaching this team? How are you stacking it up?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, it's top to bottom. Like we say, pretty much every time we're on the Braves, you can stack this line up however you want it. I kind of stay away from Harris a little bit here against the lefty. He's not going to be owned, though, but he does struggle against left-handed pitching quite a bit. First guy in my lineup would probably be Austin Riley. He's one of the best hitters in baseball against left-handed pitching this season. Just been smashing them. Swanson's been smashing them as well. And then, the Contreras, Darno combo, you can play either one of them there. So if you leave yourself with 4,900 or 4,300, I think ownership's probably going to be similar on both guys. So I don't think you're going to get that much of a discount on either one of those guys. Like him a ton, though. I normally always side with Contreras when picking between the two. I just think he's got more power overall than Travis Darno does. But yeah, I love this lineup top to bottom. And don't forget about Robbie Grossman and the 8-hole. He's 2,500. He's done some pretty good things for Atlanta with the stick. So he makes for a good option in your stack as well.
I like it. Can't argue with these Braves against Corbin. I agree with you about the William Contreras over Darno, though. I always lean him. I like that he is $600 more too. Keeps ownership a little lower, but anytime you say, I mean, Darno's had a good year as well, and he also has upside. So, I mean, playing 150 DC, you can get some of both those guys. Hey, and on FanDuel, no one's going to play Darno and William Contreras in the first base catcher and the util spot. So easy way to get different with the Brave stack over there. Take it away, DC.
Yeah, load up the wagon on the Braves. Don't really see. I mean, just look what Patrick Corbin has done against the Braves just this year. Yes, it's only a 3-game sample size, but like Patrick Corbin's not getting any better. This Braves lineup is about as good as they've had all year in the middle of a pennant race at home, good hitting weather. Corbin has, pitched against the Braves 3 times, 13 and 2/3 innings. He's given up 33 base runners in 13 and 2/3 innings, an ERA near 10. He also gives up stolen bases. He gives up a ton of home runs. There's just not that many good spots overall in this slate for offense, in my opinion. This is, I think, clearly the best one. And you can play, all 9 Braves, I think, are in play. Yeah, the lefties, Olsen and Harris, I guess a little bit lower on my list, but, they punish Patrick Corbin, they're probably only going to see him twice. They'll get 3 at-bats, most likely against right-handed pitchers, which is pretty much the entirety of that Nationals bullpen. They could do damage late in the game, and of course they could do damage off Corbin himself. It's not like a guarantee that he's, by any means, that Corbin's going to do well against those guys. So yeah, I'm with Gary. Braves will be by far my highest owned stack on this slate. I think, just the best spot. I mean, there's no reason to expect Corbin to do any better against the Braves than he's done so far this year. So I'm expecting more of the same. And and hopefully, those Braves stacks will be up top at the end of the night.
I agree. Hope they are. Simon, if you get here quick, let's get Cheeks out of the chat right now. Cheeks, I mean, come on, man. Put a smile on your face, lighten up a bit. Doesn't cost a penny to be a good person. That's all I got to say. But Cheeks, you're going to have to get a little time out right now. Let's get to the next game of the slate. New York Mets, Milwaukee Brewers, Carlos Carrasco, Aaron Ashby on the mound. 7.5 total in Milwaukee. I'll go right back to you, DC. Any interest in the Mets or the Brewers?
I don't think so. I mean, you could play the Mets side. We have seen Aaron Ashby, who's really talented, kind of melt down at times. He's another pitcher who can get really wild. And so the Mets, good lineup, obviously, could do damage against him, knock him out early. You could see that. Good park to hit in, a good home run park. I could make a case for some Mets stacks. It would probably be like the full-on Mets stack, because you're kind of betting a little bit on the Ashby meltdown at that point. Not going to the Brewers myself. I did mention Carlos Carrasco. I think probably my favorite, super contrarian pitcher on this slate. Nobody's going to want to spend up that 10.4K for him, but I do think, he is, to me, the one guy that could match Morton and Luis Castillo, even if they pitch well. I could see Carrasco getting 25, 30 himself. And then obviously if those guys fail, you would have kind of a huge edge over the field. So I'll have a decent amount of Carrasco, no Brewers hitters, and Mets kind of prefer the full stack or fading them entirely.
I'm going to add nothing about DFS, but about my Brewers. I was asking Gary pre-show, can the Brewers sneak into the playoffs, DC? Can they grab this wild card spot? 2.5 games back. The Phillies and San Diego are right there. Give me a little hope, DC. I mean, I've been following the whole standing. They just don't do anything. They're in first place for a long time. Cardinals way past them. This wild card, they've been sitting 2-3 games back for the last 3 weeks, it seems. Can they make a push?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't shock me. Padres not doing much either. My Twins, I think, have officially kind of waved the white flag. We'll talk about them, I'm sure, soon. But yeah, it's Gary's team. I think the Braves that the last, home team standing among us. But yeah, the Brewers at least have a better chance than the Twins. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make me feel too much better, but I hope they do.
Try my best.
Yeah, I hope they get the job done. I can see just at least one game, the wild card game. Gary, going to you in this one. I think you're going to say pass, but if not, let me know if they have any bats in the Brewers or the Mets.
Yeah, I just can't pay these prices for the Mets on this slate. I mean, Nemo's 5K, Lindor's 5.8, Alonso's 5.5. In the bottom of the lineup, Vientos, Guillorme, McCann, no interest there. So, I mean, love some other spots on the slate, including getting way overweight on my Braves tonight. So, yeah, I'll have no bats in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can't argue that at all. Let's see. We got 400 watching, 142 likes. Let's get 200 today. Lately, we've been giving out all the plays today. 200 is a very easy number. We want to get them to you. Still got a lot of games left to talk about. So 200. Appreciate it if you hit that like button, hit that big red subscribe button for us. Next game on the slate, we got the Los Angeles Angels, the Texas Rangers, Patrick Sandoval, and Cole Ragans on the mound. Gary, I'll go back to you. Cole Ragans, can we get to some of these Angels today? And then we like Sandoval, but Texas has a decent implied total of sitting around 4. What do you like in this game?
Man, I really wish the roof was open for this game, but I love the Angels here. Cole Ragans is just not good against right-handed power bats. And who knew that the legend that is Luis Rendongo, as somebody says in the chat. I mean, he's got 2 multi-home run games in the last 4 games. He's 4,200. Nobody's going to play him. He's leading off against his team. He's going to be less than 5% owned, most likely on the slate. Love him a ton in this spot, like Mike Trout, of course. I even like Ohtani. and then wrapping it around with Ward there in the 4-hole. So I like this team quite a bit. Cole Reagans is not good. The Texas bullpen is not good. So yeah, I'll have a lot of interest in this Angels team. And on the Texas side, I like Sandoval's probably one of my favorite pitchers on the slate. So I won't get there today.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Trout and Ohtani, there's a lot of cheap bats there. DC, talk about this game then. Livian Soto, shortstop, 2.3K in the 9-hole. You know anything about him?
Yeah, he looks okay. He's got some speed, a little bit of pop. Yeah, for 2.3K, I think that's fine, especially if you are doing that wraparound stack that Gary mentioned, which I really like. The 1 through 4 from the Braves, Rengifo, Trout, Ohtani, Ward, all those guys can crush lefties. I mean, Rengifo's numbers against lefties are just ridiculous.
Yeah, is this dude on roids or what's going on?
Yeah, we've been on him. I mean, he's been awesome for the second half of the year. I play him pretty much against every lefty. We'll certainly continue to do that. Trout's at a resurgence. Ohtani can hit lefties just fine. And then Taylor Ward, also a guy who does much better against lefties. I'm probably leaving off guys like Matt Duffy and Mike Ford in the 5 and 6 hole. So it does make sense to go to a cheap shortstop down there in the 9-hole for that 9 through 4 wraparound stack. You could also use Max Stassi, I think, as a catcher, 2.7K, or I think maybe my favorite actually is Joe Adele, who is 2,500. You know, he's got the strikeout issues and he's got just obviously some holes in his game, but he also has massive power, right? And for a 2,500 guy on a stack that you already like, could see him getting a hold of one. So yeah, I think this Angel stack does fly a little bit under the radar today. Reagan's not any good. You know, this Angels team just profiles much better against left-handed pitching. So I do like them. With Gary, though, not really on the Texas side of this one. I do have a couple bats that I think are at least interesting. Josh Jung, one of their top prospect third basemen. He's 2,300 if you need savings. I always like Jonah Heim against lefties. So there are a couple guys that you could go to. Obviously, the guys at the top of the order are okay too, but I do kind of prefer the Sandoval side of this matchup in general.
I like it. Let's get to the next game on the slate. The Cleveland Guardians, the Chicago White Sox, Aaron Savale and Dylan Cease on the mound. Good hitting weather in Chicago, about 85 degrees. I'll go right back to you, DC. Any interest in these two teams?
Not a ton. Yeah, Dylan Cease, I'm seeing projected at pretty low ownership. So if you wanted to roll the dice there, I get it. Not doing it myself, just too expensive. And this Cleveland team just too contact heavy for me to go that way. But I could see it at least. Cease always has upside. White Sox, I think, are okay. I don't mind them as a full stack. Savale, not really any good. Does struggle against right-handed bats, which is obviously most of that Chicago lineup, kind of a reverse splits guy Savale is for most of this year. So I think the White Sox stack is interesting. I mean, you've seen guys like Elvis Andrus pick it up. Juan Moncada's been a little bit better. They are swinging the bats a little bit better through September than they were most of the year at home. Yeah, I think Chicago's an interesting stack for sure.
Yeah, Gator Nation, good point in chat. And Elvis Andrus is on a heater. You pull up that game log, you don't see too many zeros in there, that's for sure. So I like that. If I'm playing the White Sox, Elvis Andrus definitely is going to be one of them. Gary, talk to me. Do you like these White Sox? Can you make a case for them? Talk about this game.
Yeah, I mean, you just stole my thunder a little bit with the Andrews box score.
Gator Nation did. I can't take credit, but sorry about that.
I got his box score up, and it's like double digits for like a lot of the last games. Like he's hitting multi-hit games, he's hitting home runs, and like DC said, Savale is a reverse splits kind of pitcher, and he's going to face 8 righties here. So that does not bode well for him. Also, I mean, this is a super important game for the White Sox. I mean, if they lose this game, you can probably all but count their postseason hopes, out the window. Steve Boynton's got some playoff tickets, I guess, to go see the White Sox. That he's hoping that they can win some games. So he ain't gonna be
there. He'll be at home.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is super
Tony
important
La
game
Russa's
for
the
him.
manager. They ain't going nowhere.
Well, he's not managing still. He's still at home on the bench with some kind of medical issue where he needs to stay.
Yeah,
I like the White Sox here quite a bit. Eloy Jimenez, Andrew Vaughn, even Moncada, like DC said, is picking it up. And Andrews. I mean, I don't know how you play the White Sox without playing Andrews right now. I'm seeing sub 5% ownership. So anytime you can get any kind of MLB player, hot streaks are a real thing in baseball. I mean, anytime you can get a player like that that's on this streak at sub 5%, I'm definitely going to have interest. Now, I'm probably not going to 5-man them. I'd probably stick to mini stacks here. But yeah, I do like the White Sox quite a bit.
White Sox or Angels, if you had to pick?
Angels for me.
Cool. I'm on the same page there. Let's get to the next game on the slate. We got DC's Minnesota Twins taking on the Kansas City Royals. Dylan Bundy and Zach Greinke on the mound. See, Boyton, at least your White Sox have a better chance than DC's Twins. But hey, on this slate today, Zach Greinke, can you make a case for these Twins? And then Dylan Bundy on the other side, over 90 degrees in KC today. 9.5 total DC, game stack, one side. Talk about this one.
Yeah, another one that like they often did for much of the season, Twins look very good on paper against Zach Greinke. We know how that typically ends. You still have to consider a lot of these guys. I mean, they got a team total near 5. They're really cheap, right? You can get to you could play your Morton Castillo combination with the Twins if you wanted to. I'm trying to limit my exposure a little bit. My two favorites are Nick Gordon and Jake Cave here. Matt Wallner hitting 9th is a prospect who can hit 2 if you need some savings. So yeah, you can't, it's hard to completely write off the Twins. Like I said, the hitting weather in Kansas City, this park's going to play very hitter friendly today. So I will have some exposure to this game hitting wise. I think I actually like the Royals side a little bit better. Maybe that 1 through 4, you can play Melendez in the outfield if you want with Witt, Salvi, and Pasquantino is still only 2.7K. They've got some value down at the bottom, actually really throughout their lineup after those 4 guys too. So the Royals, really both these teams do make sense as, cheap, relatively high upside stacks. So I don't feel great about these two teams. Neither of these two teams has been good to me this year, but at least on paper, projection wise, salary wise, they do look like pretty good plays today.
Yeah, I also lean the Royals side. I mean, Greinke, I feel like I've tried to attack him more than I should. He just doesn't get
I would rather
killed.
attack Bundy than Greinke for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm on the same page. And then I brought it up one show, and I don't know the answer, DC. I wonder if you do. Nate Eaton, is that Adam Eaton's brother or cousin or something? Do you have any clue?
I'm not sure, but I was just thinking about Dylan Bundy, and he gets like hot and humid here. He gets like extremely sweaty when it gets into some, I don't know the numbers on how he does, when it's 90 degrees and plus humidity, but just watching him pitch, you don't feel great about you like almost feel bad for him out there. He just always like struggling. So maybe I'll bump up the Royals an extra bit. I don't even know where to look up the temperature splits, but there's got to be a way to find that.
I mean, I already like the Royals. Now we get the sweating narrative. I like them even more. I'm giving them a bump as well. Gary, Twins Royals, Gary, what you like?
Yeah, for the Twins, it's just like one-offs for me, and it's the guys that DC mentioned. Nick Gordon, 3K. He's another hot hitter. So underpriced a little bit there. I always like Gio Urshela. He fits in the lineup pretty good. He's cheap. He's 2,700. Don't hate that. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm definitely more on the Kansas City side here against Dylan Bundy. I mean, this guy's got almost a 7 xFIP over the last 30 days. That's really not good at all. Salvi has a little bit of BVP here too. I think he's got a couple bombs from what I'm seeing, batting about 500. So that's promising for your Kansas City stacks. Vinny P, the AP's hero, batting cleanup tonight, 2,700 at first base position. Going to be, both sides of this game are going to be low owned just on the nature of the slate. We got underpriced Coors on the slate. So yeah, they make for good mini stacks in my opinion. I wouldn't 5-man these stacks. But yeah, I like the cheap pieces from both sides.
I like it. We got 4 games left on the slate. About to talk about Coors. 430 watching, 173 likes. I set the number really low. Someone in chat said it as well, but we want to get you the plays of the day. If you're grinding baseball late September, bunch of money to be made, no football on, but 200. I mean, you guys can't get 200. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull them, but like button, big red subscribe button, takes 2 seconds. We appreciate it. 4 games left on the slate. Coors Field. We got John Brebbia, a bullpen game for the Giants taking on Kyle Freeland. Gary, I'll go back to you in this one. Of course, it's Coors Field. The weather, it's 80 degrees. Bullpen game, though, I usually don't love targeting. And then the Giants, I mean, we know their pitch hit risk. I mean, when Kyle Freeland comes out, how many of these guys are going to be out? So talk about this game for bets.
I think I'm going to full fade it. I just don't like you said, I don't like targeting bullpen games at all. If I had to pick a side, it would definitely be the Colorado side, just because, like you said, the pinch hit risk was San Francisco. But also, look at our handiness chart on the site. You look at San Francisco over the past 2 weeks and since August 1st. I mean, top 3 in strikeouts, top 6 in strikeouts, and then they've been like a bottom 10 offense in both splits against left-handed pitching. Freeland, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a believer in Freeland, but he has been worse against left-handed bats. I don't know if that's like an anomaly. He's got a 290 WOBA against and a 121 ISO against right-handed bats in the last 30 days. That warrants a fade, in my opinion. I don't like chalky Coors normally anyway. And then when you add in the pinch hit risk for these guys, I'm just going to go elsewhere. So I'm not going to have any of this game. And if it burns me, we'll just play another slate tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make a case, like you said, both sides of each game, you can make a case why not to play them. The bullpen factor and then the pinch hit factor, but it is still Coors Field, DC. What's your plan today?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Gary. I'm just I'm going with the Braves over Coors Field, and you live with the results. Obviously, I wasn't really on Coors Field yesterday. You get 17 total runs. It happens. Could certainly happen today. It's not like these pitchers really are any good, and we know what can happen there. But I personally feel just much better about the Braves, and that's the way we roll. I think we'll get Coors Field higher owned than the Braves too, especially because the prices are a little bit lower and people just want to go there anyway. So that'll be my approach. The pinch hit risk is real, especially for the Giants guys. And man, the Rockies bats, I know they do a lot of damage at Coors Field. I just never feel great about taking them. So probably not going to do it tonight either.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't look at that Colorado lineup and be like, yeah, those are very exciting rosters. You look at that Braves lineup, it looks a little more appealing. So let's get to the next game on the slate. 3 games left. St. Louis Cardinals, San Diego Padres, Adam Wainwright and Mike Clevenger on the mound. It's pretty warm across the country, but then you get out west. I mean, the last 3 games are all about 70 degrees, a little under, which is interesting for hitting. 8 total. DC, I'll go back to you. Any picking on Wainwright, picking on Clevenger?
No, I mean, a tough place to hit in San Diego, especially with the little bit cooler weather. 2 pretty good pitchers. I know Clevenger has struggled recently, and Wainwright, of course, is on his farewell tour here, I think. But not really guys I really want to pick on, especially in not a great place to hit. The bats that you would want are mostly pretty expensive. So this game, relatively easy cross off. Not really interested in the pitchers either. So just personally kind of, pretending like this game doesn't exist and just moving on. 11-game slate. It's okay to cross a couple games off.
Absolutely. Gary?
So I did bet the over and runs in this game earlier today. I think I like it more as a bet than a DFS play. But if I was to pick a side here, it would definitely be the Cardinals. I mean, if you look at Clevenger over the last 30 days, he's got a 6.2 xFIP. He's only got a 16% strikeout rate. And man, is he getting mauled by right-handed bats. I mean, a 456 WOBA against, 372 ISO against, 94-mile-an-hour average exit velocity. That doesn't bode well for Paul Goldschmidt, facing Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and even Albert, the Winnie Pujols, if he makes the lineup as he goes for his record. So I'm probably not going to go there, but I do like St. Louis a little bit. If you're playing the late slate, St. Louis is my stack.
I wish it was in St. Louis because the weather would be a lot warmer. Because Clevenger has not been good at all. I mean, even look at that box score; it's been awful. 69 degrees though, 68 degrees when it's 85 in other parts of the country. Man, that's the only thing that's holding me back. But ownership should be very, very low, guaranteed ninth in the at bats. It isn't interesting in the late slate. If you are playing that, I agree with you there. 2 games left: Seattle Mariners, Oakland Athletics. Luis Castillo, J.P. Sears on the mound. If you want the most leverage on the slate, you play Oakland. I don't think any 3 of us will be doing that. And then the Mariners, I'll go back to you, Gary. Any interest in them?
I mean, it's the same story as the last game. Like, why can't they be playing in a better park? I mean, I think that's the theme on the West Coast. I mean, it's just the park is always a bad park. But man, JP Sears has not been good. He's got a 5.9 xFIP over the last 30 days, 50% strikeout rate. I mean, he's getting mauled by right-handed bats. And this lineup is loaded with power right-handed bats. I mean, it's not a good recipe for him. Julio Rodriguez, I'm never going to tell anybody not to play him. He looks really good. Ty France looks really good, 3,900. Even Carlos Santana at 2,800. I like him here. Look at Carlos Santana's game log. He's coming off a 2-homer game.
I was just gonna say, what's got into him too?
Yeah. And then three games ago, he had another 2-homer game, and then he had a homer game before that. So he's heating up. Dirt cheap. I mean, nobody's going to play these guys on the West Coast. They got a 4.2 implied total from what I'm seeing. I don't hate it. I just hate the ballpark. Just a continuing theme on the West Coast. So definitely like some Seattle here, but mini stacks probably for me.
So Cardinals over Seattle if you had to pick.
Man, that's tough. Probably Cardinals over Seattle. Yeah.
But if you're playing late slate, you can just 5-3 and play both of them or something like that. I'm glad you brought up Ty France because Stevie Boyd earlier in chat said I cannot wait for people to bring up Ty France. Don't have to force DC to talk about him, but hey, DC, Ty France right there. The problem is Carlos Santana's right there too for 1,100 cheaper. Are you even getting to these Mariners? Talk about it.
Not too many Mariners for me. Just Oakland. It's where fly balls go to die. And just you very rarely see teams go crazy there, especially, on nighttime. Sometimes you see it, we call the daytime A's, plays a little bit different on a daytime game, Sunday afternoon, something like that. But yeah, like Julio Rodriguez, France, Haniger, Santana, sure. If you want to go with a 4-man stack, they've got upside. You get the full 9 innings of bats. It's a good matchup. It could get there. It's just hard for me to get excited about them on an 11-game slate when there's just, I think, better spots. But I will mix in at least a few Mariners, and then no A's for me.
I like it. 1 game left on the slate. You guys already got the like button, so we're going to get you the stacks, get you the plays of the day. A lot of people still haven't hit it, though. If you haven't, takes 2 seconds. We appreciate like button, subscribe button, get you the stacks, get you the plays of the day. Then we'll get on out of here. Arizona Diamondbacks, Los Angeles Dodgers, Dre Jameson, Tyler Anderson on the mound. Dodgers have a good implied total. Again, out west, it is 70 degrees. It's a lot cooler than it is across the country. But Dre Jameson, DC, and it's the Dodgers, one of the best lineups in baseball. So are you going to get to any of them?
Won't be playing the Diamondbacks against Tyler Anderson. I don't think I'm quite as high on Anderson as Gary is, but won't be getting to them for the most part. Maybe like a Christian Walker one-off, something like that. Dodgers are interesting, I think. Dre Jameson making his second big league start here. Gary, I think you might have been on him in his debut against San Diego with stone minimum 4K against the Padres and delivered. 28 DraftKings points, outstanding outing from him at that minimum price tag. He has bumped up to 6.1K here. I would not advise playing him, frankly, against the Dodgers here. Not that we have. Looking at the kind of the underlying results from that start, though, I do think he got pretty fortunate, didn't miss that many bats. And obviously a different story facing the Padres to facing the Dodgers in Los Angeles. So yeah, I think the Dodgers, a pretty good way to go. Kind of as always, they're certainly really expensive. I definitely don't like them as much as the Braves, but I think you could certainly go to this team. I don't really think Jameson was getting hit pretty hard in the minor leagues. And I would expect the Dodgers to do some damage here. So I do think they are an interesting late night stack for sure.
Yeah, I think you get them low owned because right now it's a second game of doubleheader. Right now they're in the 7th inning. They're down 5-1 to the Diamondbacks right now. And that means the lineup's probably not going to be out before lock. And who even knows if it's going to be the normal order. So you definitely, if you are planning on playing the Dodgers, you have to keep an eye on that. But I think that definitely reduces ownership and Vegas likes it. Gary, do you like any of these Dodgers and any Diamondbacks?
I think I prefer like the St. Louis's and the Seattles of this late game. I think we're just going to see another watered down lineup. I'm trying to pull it up now. I think they sat a couple guys in the first game, a couple of their regulars, and I think they're going to sit probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Trey Turner and Freddie Freeman sat tonight right at the top of their lineup. So I think we're going to see another watered down lineup. And I see in YouTube chat earlier, people were talking up the rookie there. I just still can't do it. I still can't play him over like a Sandoval or even, I can't do it over Sandoval, to be honest. So I like St. Louis. I like Seattle. I'm going to sit out bats in this game.
Yeah, can't play everyone. That is all 11 games on the slate. Just look at Gary's hat, look at Gary's shirt, and that's what we're rolling with, it sounds like, today. So let's go top 3 stacks. Gary, I only need 2 from you. 1 Braves. Who's 2? Who's 3?
So I'm going to go the Angels 2, and then White Sox 3.
DC, top 3 stacks.
Yeah, Braves 1. I actually will go Angels 2, and you know what? We'll go against the old sweaty Dylan Bundy and go with the Royals third.
I like it. Let's get into the plays of the day. We'll start with myself with the SO play of the day. It's going to go to the Angels because I do like them a lot, but that sweaty narrative, I already like the Royals. Got to like them even more now. And the Italian nightmare, Vinny P in the 4-hole, batting cleaned up, 2.7K. Really like him against Dylan Bundy. So he is the SO play of the day. Groundhog play of the day, Gary. What you got for us?
So it's not going to actually be a Brave today. I think the Brave is. I think that doing that is just a cop out for me to do that. I'm going to go with my favorite secondary stack that I'm going to try to pair with the Braves. I haven't built any lineups yet, but this guy is definitely going to be in my lineup. He's going to be playing second base in my lineup. Luis Rengifo is going to go deep today at less than 5% ownership. So Luis Rengifo.
I like it. DC, Mom's basement play of the day. Cap it off for us.
I guess the Braves stack is wide open for me to choose whoever I want. So I'll go over to the Braves. And listen, if you played the 9th place hitter for the Braves all year long, you got a lot of Michael Harris. You're getting some Robbie Grossman recently, but today you get Vaughn Grissom down there, 3.8K. You can obviously use him on the wraparound stack. Awesome hitter, super talented guy. And I think he'll deliver against Patrick Corbin and company for the Braves.
I love it. Vaughn Grissom, Luis Rengifo, and Vinny P, the Italian nightmare, the 3 plays of the day. Fun 11-game slate. Baseball, there's no NFL on today, just baseball. Good prize pools out there. Check Big T's player pool, core plays, playbook, cash chart, all of that stuff. As always, normal lock time. Should be a fun one for sure. Don't talk about pitching, talked about hitting. Great hitting weather across the country outside of the West. So looking to see some RPS logos up top. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that big red subscribe button. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow as always. That's going to do it for us, though. Have a great night. For Gary, DC, Simon Behind the Sticks, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.